we're talking to both of you now, right? Dave Stewart and Thomas Lindsey?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So you formed a band together called Stewart Lindsey. And tell me a little bit about how you met, how this got started.
Well, yeah, we're not really a band.
Well, a duo then.
Yeah, we're two people that couldn't have come from the more opposite upbringings, but when you sort of think about it, some similarities. But I'm from the northeast of England, northeast industrial town. And Thomas is from DeRidder in Louisiana. And I grew up listening to some blues music my cousin sent over. Memphis, and learnt really from old blues records, which coincidentally, when Thomas was getting into music, was listening to old blues singers and also living in, so I suppose a little bit like, DeRidder's near the border of Texas and Louisiana, isn't it, Thomas?
It is, yeah.
So he grew up listening to, obviously, 80s music and singers like Annie and Cher, but he also was crazy about some of the old blues singers as well. And so when we connected by me reading a tweet, believe it or not.
No, yeah.
I heard instantly in his voice something very sort of ancient in a way, like the spirit of some old blues, gospel, voodoo priest kind of world. And I thought, aha, this could fit into the kind of world I dive into sometimes. And we just began to talk to each other via, email and then on the phone, and then we started to collaborate.
Very good. Thomas, when did you realize you had this powerful vocal instrument at your command? Was it very early on?
I don't. I never believed that. I don't have a lot of self-confidence and such with that. I just know that I love blues music and I love to sing soul music. I connect with soul music. I love to sing it and I love to do it, and so I bring it forth with that, But I know that it's not too bad because people don't close their ears. But my whole life I've enjoyed that kind of music. And I could instinctively hear that when I would hear myself, okay, it doesn't sound like rubbish, obviously. I never have thought I was great, but I knew that it wasn't bad, so that's why I continued with it. My family, we do that. We sing constantly in the yard or in the house or anything. It wasn't uncommon to 2 or 3 of us to be singing different songs in different rooms in the house at the same time. And it wasn't because, we were happy or any particular emotion. It's like breathing. It's just what you do.
Were you singing at all in church or, because I definitely hear a lot of gospel coming from you, gospel influence and blues influence from you. And is that the stuff that you just sang all the time, or is it something you gradually went to?
It wasn't in church, but I am a very spiritual person, so I gravitated towards gospel music because gospel music moved my spirit. I felt it is a deep connection to God for me. And then obviously out of gospel music rooted blues and jazz and all these other things. So I loved them as well because they are an outpouring of emotion and the soul and what the soul feels. You can listen to a blues song about, Aretha Franklin does a song where it says, if I had $1 and you had a dime, I wonder if I could borrow yours as easy as you could mine. And when you hear that, it's like, whoa, that hits you right to the core. And other music, I like other music, but it doesn't do the same thing to me that does. So I've always been really in tune with everything that has a touch of soul inflection in it because of that.
Well, I think it's fabulous. I heard the song, Dear God, and that almost sounds like you're singing in church. It's beautiful.
It It is.
Yeah, but I mean, but if you want to talk about combining styles, I mean, Another Lie is a fantastic single. It basically has that strong beat and it has that, vocal strength as well. And that kind of reminds me a little bit of something that Dave, that you did with Annie Lennox back in the Eurythmics. You have a dominating vocal and a strong lead melody. When you wrote these songs, they were specifically for Thomas?
Well, what happened was sometimes I would send music, like that, telling it like with a heavy beat.
Mm-hmm.
And Thomas would send back, tell another lie. And we'd go, that's pretty good. And then we'd build on that. And Thomas would go away and write other bits. And then I'd surround and play lead, dobro, slide guitar. And sometimes Thomas would send me just a whole sort of verse and melody singing with no music at all. And he'd be singing words almost in midair kind of thing, And then I'd try and sort of surround it in music without taking away that thing like Dear God, having the verses so empty, like almost like an eerie church organ, and just a lonely slide guitar. And, the whole thing about music for me is trying not to mess it up because it's coming from somewhere else,
Right.
Whatever I think of or whatever melody or what to play or how, it's already there in the universe, and my job is trying not to mess it up. And I probably think Thomas feels the same, like he sings stuff that come from, you don't know, it just comes in your head or from your gut, and you go, oh, I better not mess it up, like nature in a way, right?
It is.
Yeah, it's just really cool. I also think that, the way, Dave, your whole career has been how you've sort of mashed rock, country, blues. You like to put all these genres together and mix it up almost like a gumbo and then bring it out there. I mean, that's where the band Heavy came from, where Super Heavy, where you had all these different styles sort of mixed together. Is there going to be ever a return of Super Heavy, by the way, as a side note?
I've often talked and thought about it in what form and shape it would take. And I think they will, but, again, what mixture of styles it will be an interesting experiment, as always. I mean, the thing with Thomas and I is there are influences of styles, like things that I would do in Eurythmics records, like, say, a song with Aretha, like Sisters Are Doing It For Themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be doing a riff like dum dum on my guitar, dum 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 dum. But on top of it, I strapped together all these boxes with different things in it, like some dried lentils, some pencils, till I got a shaker that sounded not like a shaker. I suppose it sounded like a huge capacitor or something. And made that really loud in the mix, like almost African sound. And then underneath it all is this like R&B feel. So you don't notice this big African kind of shaking influence, but then if you'd analyze it, you go, blimey, what's that noise, It's how to sneakily get in like an old church organ from the 16th century in Britain onto a record with a boy from Louisiana singing,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wanted to also ask you about the title, Spitballin'. Now, the term spitballing is like really to toss ideas around without any expectation of anything. Is that what you were, aiming for when you started this process, or?
That's exactly the reason why, because the title of the album sort of sums up what we were doing, because I didn't want to put any pressure on Thomas at all, or expectation that we were even making a record. We didn't even say we were making a record till about halfway through, did we?
No, we didn't.
We were just
We
like,
didn't.
yeah.
Very cool. Very,
Thomas tends to be scared of things, so Dave has to coax him and be like, okay, well, let's just try this, and then it works. It works. But I tend to, he's more open about trying different things and all that. And I was kind of scared at first, obviously.
well, I am so glad that you're doing this. How's it been playing like in front of crowds and all?
Oh, well, that's always fun.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah.
Not that,
Go ahead.
We slay them, as I say. We come on stage, they have no expectation because they're like, what the hell is this? Stewart Lindsey, because we thought we'd confuse them first with the name. People thinking, hang on, is this Dave Stewart Lindsey Buckingham? What's going on? I thought he was with Stevie Nicks. And then Thomas comes on, and a few experiments were done on stage. From the first notes to the end of the 6 songs in a row, whatever, they just have their jaws open and then cheering after every one, like they've just witnessed something, unusual.
Well, it is pretty cool. I think that the two of you have got together and you've harnessed both your strengths in here. One other last question relative to the album. I noticed in this, basically, Thomas, you're just doing most of the lead here. Dave, do you ever do any harmonizing at all within this album, or you just want to?
I just stayed completely out of the way of that voice.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
You could have jumped in at any time. I would have welcomed it.
No.
All right, cool. Well,
I'd grunt. I'd be, But that's as far as I would go within that area.
well, you got a good voice. You should use it too. Let me sort of close off with a little asking you a trivia question, because Dave, you have worked with like tons and tons of artists, from Bono to Mick Jagger, Dylan. Who do you think, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but who do you think is the biggest diva in the studio when you were producing their music, Ringo or Paul?
Actually, neither of them act like divas. They're both very down to earth and collaborative. You often find that the most unknown artist that hasn't got anywhere yet is acting more like a diva than the legends. They're kind of a legend in their own lunchtime, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. And I am so grateful that you took some time to talk to me. Thank you both, Dave Stewart, Thomas Lindsey, the band, Stewart Lindsey, and the album is Spitballin'. And thank you both for the interview. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.